It's hard not to be surprised by how much the XRP ledger has grown in the last few months. Again, 2018 has been a great year for both Ripple and XRP. We remember when prices were just about even, right? I know that a lot of you aren't impressed by the price action, but for those of you who have been following along, we already know how amazing XRP's growth has been over the last year. XRP is still up more than 400%, So far, it's been an amazing cycle. The adoption, changes, and growth going around the XRP ledger with the EVM sidechain are truly impressive, and I certainly believe this is only the start. We're going to look over here from Open Eden. The XRP ledger has had a big month. Its RWA value went up by 32.27%, and its DeFi TBL value went up by 19%. Open Eden is happy to be at the top of the XRP Ledger RWA League table for the past 30 days in terms of growth. Now, more than ever, institutional-grade RWA tokenization is on the rise, and we're in the lead. In addition, when we look back at what's been going on, we can see that a lot of good news from big names has been coming out about tokenization. It seems like we're only thinking about the short run because there is only so much money on the chain right now. We're not really thinking about how to move forward with tokenization. Once things get turbocharged, which means we get clarity for the tokenization market from the SEC, which we know is on the way, things will change and go into overdrive very, very quickly. This is because once the market is clear, there's nothing stopping big players from jumping in. Right now, blockchain tokenization is making billions of dollars. There's a chance that trillions of dollars will flood these networks very quickly. To follow up on that, let's quickly look at the growth of the XRP record. It's up 30% in the last 30 days. It's gone up ABO 2343% in the last 30 days, or $306 million. It's also worth more than 56% more than it was 30 days ago. To say it again, it's been really exciting to see XRP grow. Open Eden is up 274% if you look at the top 30-day gainers. Taking a quick look at those T-bills, it was possible to see. I wish there was a way to see this from the point of view of the network. It was kind of clear, right? This is where XRP is shown in green. We saw that big jump start to happen at the beginning of August. So, Open Eden has been growing very well so far. I also think that a lot of these other prices will go up, especially since a lot more moves to tokenize XRP haven't been announced yet. Once more, we know that a lot more tokenization news is on the way, especially since Ripple Swell is just around the corner. That sounds like one of the most exciting events coming up. Just like in 2024, 2023, and 2022, some big news were made at that event. You should put Ripple Flow on your calendar. And yes, I think that will make even more people use the XRP system for tokenization moves. Now, let's talk about a new article from Ripple that talks about how the future of 18.9 trillion in tokenized assets by 2033 will depend on a very important factor. Casing that is good enough for institutions, which Ripple has already dealt with. Check out these 5 important things you can learn from the Blockchain Association of Singapore Custody Workshop about how technology is changing banking, compliance by design, flexible custody models, strong control, operational resilience, and increasing the use of stablecoins. These all have something to do with what's going on in this $19 trillion business. Now that we think about it, let's jump right in. First, as digital finance grows, the job of digital asset custody is quickly becoming an important part of the financial system. Key use cases like issuing stablecoins, making payments across borders, and tokenizing RWAs now depend on custody. Businesses need a custody solution that is safe, scalable. The Ripple and Blockchain Association of Singapore held a workshop earlier this month to talk about custody, why it's important to keep digital assets safe. For businesses that want to join the digital asset economy, custody is the most important step. It sets up the machinery needed to lower risk, make sure regulations are followed, and make new business models possible. Recent research from Ripple and Boston Consulting Group says that the number of tokenized RWAs will grow quickly and hit almost $18.9 trillion by 2033. This is driving the rapid rise in demand. Ripple's 2025 New Value Report shows that institutions are becoming more and more interested in adopting digital assets. 71% of businesses and financial institutions in APAC are more confident in digital assets now than they were 6 months ago, according to the study. Even though only 30% of businesses use custody options right now, 52% plan to do so in the next 3 years. Also, yes, this is important to pay attention to because 71% of businesses and institutions in APAC are gaining more faith in digital assets. That's a really important number to pay attention to because it tells us that adoption at the institutional and business level will only continue to grow from now on. What you should remember from this class, we now have a compliance by design solution to our custody infrastructure right away. In a way, this just breaks down how you know or what's needed. Like, these are the most important things to think about. Pick a custody plan that fits the needs of your business. Operational stability is a very important part of custody infrastructure. For institutions to be trusted, they need strong government. Getting more people to use safe coins is all about custody. By the way, this is the most important thing about even tokenization. The idea of ownership is very important when we talk about tokenization. This is what we see when we think about what's coming up and what's going on here. The training stressed how important it is to keep digital assets safe because it is a key part of building trust in institutions and getting people to use digital assets. Custody infrastructure will need to be strong, clear, and flexible as use cases grow and legal requirements rise. These needs must be met by solutions that include self-custody, third-party providers, or a mix of the two. Only then will the next step of stablecoin use, tokenized finance, and cross-border settlement be possible. For instance, Ripple custody is made to help institutions safely handle tokenized assets while also allowing for legal compliance, operational flexibility, and integration at the enterprise level. In the next step, the infrastructure for custody will also need to work better with smart contracts and tokenized papers that are linked to conditions that happen off-chain. For programmable payments, conditional settlement, and automatic compliance processes, this will be important. It will also allow full on-chain execution of trade flows. With these features, we can build a digital financial system that can grow as needed, work with other systems, and adapt to the new financial age. Yes, all of this is part of Ripple's growth into a big infrastructure piece. We look at everything when we think about that puzzle, right? We're going to look at tokenization. Since Ripple tokenization is something we're interested in, we know that XRP plays a big role in this. In fact, XRP is very important. It's the most important part for tokenization from Ripple's point of view. It comes with those DEX. Because it's related to everything else, it can handle tokenization on a large scale. Even the ways that tokenization can be used, like for establishment DeFi, it's all part of the big plan. That core system is being built by Ripple. On the XRP platform, it has everything that is needed for this to happen. We take a look at Ripple custody. The steady coin is what we all. Putting that together with everything else that's been said about XRP in the last couple of weeks is very positive. Let's look at what's been going on since the beginning of summer as an example. Let's go back to June 10th. This was the very first message we got. The Apex 2025 digital commercial paper DCP is now live on the XRP ledger. It is managed by Guggenheim Treasury Services, which is one of the world's biggest independent commercial paper platform managers, which is made possible by his economy. DCP is the first native digital business paper on the XRP ledger. It has been issued in amounts of more than 280 million and is backed by U.S. Treasuries and Rata Prime 1 by Moody's. Quickly, let's go back to the XRP system. How much value does Guggenheim's XRP have right now? Oh, it's the economy, not more than 10 million. Guys, this isn't even close to where that value is going. This is just the beginning. Also, June 11th is a big one. U.S. Treasuries that have been tokenized are now live on the XRP system. This is with Ondo Finance's OUSG, which is backed by BlackRock's Build Fund and gives institutions access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It can be redeemed using ROUSD. What kind of value is that? Well, OUSG, more than $30 million. Once more, this is just the beginning. Then there was another big one. Again, on July 4th, Mercado Bitcoin is adding over $200 million worth of real-world assets to the XRP ledger. This is one of LAM's biggest tokenization efforts to date, and it includes both fixed income and equity-based income instruments. The assets will link up with a network that more than 70 central banks and financial institutions accept. I just checked, and when we come over here, guess what? That amount of money has not yet been added to the XRP system. To see why this is important,